It's the premiere episode of Afterbuzz TV tonight. I'm your host, DJ Jesse J. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to Afterbuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What up, Afterbuzzers? It's your boy, Jesse Janedy, here live in studio for Afterbuzz TV's first ever late night talk show, Afterbuzz Tonite. I'm super excited. We have a special guest coming in later. Before we get to that, I got to give y'all my teammates we got going on here, my angels. We got Miss Janine Doyle in the house.
Hey, how's it going?
And Jaimi Gray.
What's up, guys?
Yo, we have so much to talk about, but I
Yes.
just want to reach out to the fans right now because you guys have been following AfterBuzz since we was like a little pea pod, and we have grown into this huge network, and we just thought, we finally had to deliver, you guys, a late night talk show. So shout out to Keven Undergaro and Maria Menounos for allowing us to have this platform to be able to create content for you guys. We started with after shows, TV shows, and now we're moving on to some other things, some original content for you guys. Thank you, AfterBuzz. Let's get into it. Today, we have a very special guest in studio. He will be performing his hit single that he just released last Friday, so this is like kind of a big situation. Rayvon Owen, you guys might have seen him on a little show called American Idol or whatnot.
I think I heard of it.
You know what I'm saying? So he'll be joining us in just a little bit, but we got to get into some hot topics that we got going on. So Janine, what is tea this week? What we got? What's the deal?
Well, as we all are well aware and probably sick of talking about already, Game of Thrones.
Oh my God, let it go. Man.
I can't let it go. I cannot let it go. So season 8 finale, series finale last night, and a lot of people are not happy with it. I don't know. What did you guys
I'm
think?
one of them.
Okay, so let's just go over this. You guys both are Game of Thrones fans.
Yes.
Sure.
Have we followed from the very beginning? Like we stepped into the water, and or did we
From when-
catch on late at
yeah.
all?
All of
Okay,
it.
I just watched Game of Thrones this past, like in the past 2 months. I caught up because y'all are crazy. Y'all were like, "Oh my God!" I felt like I was missing out on something. I've now missed out on hours of sleep. But overall, I caught up and watching season 8, so I'm kind of actually thrilled that season 8 upset everybody because I felt like y'all was just always coming at me like, oh, you don't watch Game of Thrones? Well, you're missing the best show. Gags on you. So
Well,
what
I
are we
mean,
thinking?
But then the gags on you because you started watching. Like, had you stuck to your guns,
I
you
should
you
have.
didn't
I
have to
knew.
watch it. Do you feel like it was worth it? Like, since you caught up, do you feel like it was worth
Absolutely
it?
not.
Yeah.
Any person that actually, here's the thing. One, I hate. I'm not really like a big like knights and armor and like I love the dragon.
Dragons.
I love dragons.
Okay.
Don't get it twisted. I played World of Warcraft. Okay.
Okay.
But
Spyro.
Yes. And Spyro. Oh, Spyro's
Oh my
Yes,
God.
classic, right?
Yes.
PlayStation.
But
Okay.
Game of Thrones for me, it was just like it's like I'm watching Handmaid's Tale. Like I can't be watching two slow-paced situations. Like season 1 was a drag for me until we got to the end of season 1. I was like, oh, I get it. But then every season felt like that. It was like, okay, what's happening?
Yeah.
For me personally.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel like it definitely kind of dragged this season. I mean, the episodes were not even that, newsworthy. I mean, you got the trending topic. People are going to talk about it. But it was just very redundant. I really thought the way that Cersei and Jaime went out was so whack. Just holding each other in the rubble. Like, really? Really? You've had all these scenes where, like, even from, like, season 3, when people are getting stabbed. And, it's just like, it wasn't enough for me. Daenerys, I was ready for her to go. Bye-bye.
No.
Jon, you did your thing. Like, she had to go. I'm sorry.
She did.
She had to go.
Yeah.
She was my only favorite.
Yeah, she was canceled. So we are not the only ones that were feeling a little bit frustrated with the way that this season ended. There's actually a petition circulating online. It has 1.3 million signatures asking for a redo.
Okay. Y'all need
Let
to
it
find a
go.
new hobby. Let it go. Let it go.
Also, I don't know if you know this, but there's actually a scientific reason why people might be upset
Why?
with
Really?
Game of Thrones. Yes. scientists looked into this and calculated that the first 7 seasons were all based on sociological interactions. So less about the characters and more about the chess pieces within a broader society. Whereas the last season, we were meant to really empathize and connect with all the characters, which goes against everything
ride.
it's the wrong ride. Yeah. So listen, if they end up redoing a season 8, which the chances are very small. If they do, let's go back to the old way, because I liked that way a whole lot
I
better.
would lose all of my respect for Game of Thrones, even more than I already have, if they redid it. Like, it's like, this is what you wanted. This is what you created. This was your story. Moving on.
Right.
Like, we're
You
moving
messed
on
it
from
up.
this story. I'm done.
Janet Jackson is killing it in Las Vegas. So she's come full circle with her new tour, or her new residency, Metamorphosis, which I realize is a lot of change analogies right quick in one sentence. But she is back in Vegas. She started there at 7 years old. She's now 53 with her new residency there. Pretty amazing. But another starlet is having kind of a tough time with her Vegas residency, Britney Spears, which I know, Jesse, you're a big fan.
I am a huge fan of
Love it.
Britney, and I know we're on the whole Free Britney movement and whatnot, and some of it confuses me, and I feel like some people are also late to the party.
Sure.
Because we've been asking for this since
For over 7
Sam
years.
left Easton, which was like circus era.
I'm not sure I'm part of the Free Britney movement because she's been doing so good for the last couple years under her conservatorship.
Has she, though?
Yeah, I think she has. Think about what she's done in Las Vegas, and she's been very stable. There's been no, like, shaving her head in a random LA barbershop or beating up a car with an
True.
umbrella. She's been doing so good.
And her manager just came out, Larry, right? And
Yeah.
he said that there will be no performances. And he kind of alluded to her being done.
And that's why I'm wondering, like, why, how are we saying that she's okay? I think that there's been signs that she's really not. There's been stories all over the internet about her conservatorship, between her father, Jamie, and then her mother, who is now, taken over her conservatorship as well, Lynn. So, I think there's definitely more to the story. I want Britney to do an interview, Oprah, Gayle,
Never
somebody.
happening.
Like,
It's never
I
happening.
don't think it will either, because I've heard stories of, like, even when she's trying to talk to, like, a reporter, a bodyguard is there asking what's going on. Britney is literally trapped. Her song Overprotected.
It was real.
Okay, the Dark Child remix is the best, though, okay? Let's not get it twisted. But I just think she's always been trying to express herself through her music, and people were not really listening, except her real fans.
I absolutely agree. I do think it's a different situation if you are not in the capacity. I don't really fully understand what her situation is. I just want the best, absolutely, like we all do.
She's been clinically diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I have had a few friends with that, and they got their medication, they balanced it out, and they were doing good, like literally like 180, like
Sure.
totally different person. And so I've always wanted that for her. My problem, what I think honestly with her is, I feel like she has been in the machine for so long, and I always say this: the reason we're so attached to Britney in a way that we're not with Christina, and I would love to actually like see some sort of focus group on this, but like I feel like with Britney, she slowly grew with us.
Yeah.
With Christine, it was like, well, you're a pop star, now you're like naked, then you're like
Dirty.
Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
back to basics. Like it was like, what are we getting? I don't know, like, girl, what you're doing. But with Britney, we slowly grew with her. Her music grew, and I feel like Overprotected, like certain songs that she was playing, it was like I felt like she's always over coddled, and that's what I think my problem with the
Conservatorship.
yeah, is that I feel like it's almost like, Mom, Dad, like, take a step back. I think maybe she probably needs some real friends in her life.
Yeah.
And someone's like, girl, you look crazy. Like, fix your hair before you go on
Right,
camera, girl.
right, fix the
Like,
tracks.
because that's what I want to do with you, Britt. I love you, and it kills me every time I see these videos of you on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, does she think that's cute? Because it's not. Because
Right.
I'm always rooting for you, and I love you. And she did post this video of her, like, killing it dancing.
Yeah.
The day after Larry made that comment. So I'm intrigued
Something to watch.
to see what's happening. What else we got?
Okay, well, Foxy Brown is also having kind of a tough time right now. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but she went on stage for the Welcome to the Dungeon tour this past Saturday and was actually booed off stage because she couldn't remember all the lyrics to her 1996 hit, I'll Be, which featured Jay-Z,
And so let's get into the next story. But before we do that, let's have a moment of silence for Foxy. Moving on.
Oh my God.
Sorry, girl.
I mean, but do you feel like it's because she's partially
No.
deaf too?
G-
Because people were saying that because they allegedly that she was partially deaf.
No, Black Twitter was
Black
dragging
Twitter,
her for that.
but they apparently played Lil Kim after they booed her off.
Yeah,
Like, they're
shade.
just,
Oh, that's
cancel
shade.
culture is just, it's awful.
That's rude. That's
Yeah.
disrespectful. Not
yeah,
here for that.
that was played so. The DJ had that ready to go. It was like he was waiting for her to mess up so that he could.
shady.
Yes, so shady. I'm not sure that shady would be the word to describe this. Actually, quite sad, but something that's really important, very topical this week. Malaysia Booker. Remember that name. She was the transgender woman that was beaten on that viral video about a month
Cliff.
ago, and she passed away this weekend. She was shot. They're not saying that it's related, but it was definitely homicide, they said. And it's just a testament, as much as we have visibility in television and movies for the transgender community, they're still under attack, and actually the violence has increased according to a lot of advocacy groups. So actually in the past year, 24 transgender people have been killed. So something to keep in mind as we keep watching shows and amazing stars come out, that this is still something that needs to be talked about.
This is disgusting at the end of the day. This is the fact that a lot of news outlets are not talking about this, and it's funny whenever something in the LGBTQ arena ever comes up, it's not covered. You know, it goes to a lot of black men being shot that are not being covered, or the picture is being painted a different way. You know, this, I really wanted us to talk about this because I just feel like just getting it out there. This is a human being, whether you agree or disagree, whether you understand whatever your situation in life is, this is a human being. We're not out here trying to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always about fun, shade, and play, you know what I mean? But, like, I do that with my friends. But to be out there and to be, you know, that video of her that was going around, of her getting beaten up, the things that were being said, honestly, is equally as harmful as the physical act. And just we need to be better. Like, we need to do better and be better. Y'all are sitting out here worried about growing bean fetuses. But what about the actual people that are alive, living, breathing out here in the community that you just throw to the street, or that you don't want to talk about because you don't understand it or you don't get it, or what are they? No, they're human beings at the end of the day. And so this is just like, I don't even know. It's like heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And even the viral video that went, the video that went viral a month ago, where she's being brutally beaten, kicked. There were men and women, chanting homophobic slurs. And I'm not sure exactly what she was into after this incident, but apparently, allegedly, there was a man that was paid about $200 to literally kick her ass. Like, so I'm not sure if there's any relation to the previous incident to her demise, but it's just really sad. Especially, I not to separate, but I do think that it's also LGBTQ people of color.
Yeah.
We have shows like
Absolutely.
Pose on FX, where they're featuring actual trans women as the actors, and it's like these groundbreaking shows, and we still have so much work to do. It's, when are people gonna get it? Is it the homophobia?
It's just that it's so new for people, which it isn't. It's different for people. We are supposed to live in a country that separates religion from state. We don't, and so I think that we just need to get to a place in life. And what I will say, I always go back and forth with social media too, but I am happy we're in this place, because I feel like social media is so the wild, wild west right now. And because we don't understand it, we can be on Facebook and all of a sudden see a suicide or a shooting and something like that, where that is negative, but at the same time, it's throwing it in people's faces. So now you have to deal with it. Now you have to know how many people are being murdered, are being killed, and how many horrible things. It's funny, where I grew up, my mom didn't know those kind of things, because I grew up very in the closet. I didn't ever want to talk to my mother about certain things, so I would go out of my town to hang out with people who I could relate to. And so when she started hearing about a different world outside of her bubble, there is a state of confusion, not understanding, and not wanting to go near it because you don't get it. But then you come around, and this is what we need to do as a culture and as a world, is grow up. And that's just what I would like to see. And that's why we need to talk about this, because the more people talking about it, the more it's real to people who are just watching it at home, like, oh, those kind of people live there. No, those kind of people live everywhere. And you're probably scaring somebody from actually wanting to be themselves because of your opinion. Moving on. The Intruder premiere. Let me tell y'all, AfterBuzz, I was at this premiere. When I tell you Megan good, she looks so good.
She's beautiful.
Well, she is making headlines because she is a devout Christian, and she's even the wife of a preacher. But she even came out and said in an interview this week that she doesn't always enjoy going to church for one specific reason, and that's sometimes the people there are a little closed-minded, and they're a little closed-minded specifically about her career. She's made this incredible career. I mean, her IMDb, if you printed it, would be pages and pages and pages long. Very talented woman. She is getting judged quite a bit by members of her religious community based on some of the scenes that she's chosen to perform, namely some sex scenes. But she actually said something great that I want to make sure that I get correct. She said that her husband, Devon Franklin, who is a Seventh-day Adventist preacher and a film producer, he has actually told her, girl, go out and do it the best you possibly can. Make them believe it, because you're showing love in a lot of these movies and scenes, and it just elevates the craft. The more people you can watch your craft, the better. So go out and do it. And I thought that was beautiful, and that was putting aside something that we typically think, right, that wouldn't mix, which is Hollywood and religion, and sort of him standing by her and defending her. So I don't know. I'm not a very regular church attendee. I don't know if you guys are.
Oh, I love God. Ooh.
Are you? Okay. Are you?
I love
do you go to
God.
church?
I
weekly?
do go to church. Do I go as often as I should or as I used to? Maybe not.
Are you religious or spiritual?
I'm spiritual, but it's like, even if I was religious, I wouldn't be afraid to say it, because I feel like so many people, as soon as they mention God, they get afraid that the person listening is going to be like, oh, well, and it's like, you do you, I'll do me. I wouldn't be here like without God. That's a fact, and I think when you're in tune with that, you're good. And I've seen Megan at church. I've seen her husband. He's amazing. He is an incredible preacher, Christian, and he's even written books that call like the Hollywood Commandments, where he does, merge Hollywood and faith. And I think you need that in this industry. So he's supportive like a husband should be. I see what Megan's saying. Nowadays, you can go to church, you can stream it. You don't even have to go to church. You could tithe online or via text. Why bother?
Yeah, see, so I wear What Would Jesus Do on my arm.
Yes.
And specifically, I stopped going to church probably around 19. And it was because I had got my ears pierced, and I went to go receive communion. And my priest stopped, as he was about to put the spoon in my mouth, stopped and said, your ears are pierced. What do you want to be, a girl?
Oh.
And when I tell you, I don't think there's ever been a moment, there was probably actually a moment, but where that many thoughts ran through my head in such clarity of, you're about to give me the blood of Christ. And like, I know what that represents here, and that's what you stopped. So you literally, as you were about to give me this, are you praying for me or are you judging me? And that's my biggest thing with this. And I was so afraid of church because I felt like I was a sinner. I was bad. I'm gay. I'm this. I'm that. I'm that. I'm that. I'm that. But I never felt that way. I felt that way because that's what I was told.
Right.
And so I was mad at the church, and I hated the church, and all this. And I never lost sight of God or Jesus, because I can understand. I love all different types of religion and spirituality. And being in LA, I grew up with Native Americans on a reservation, so I grew up very spiritual and like trees and nature. And I feel like that really helped me because it brought me back to God and Jesus. Because whether you believe in Jesus as a person or not, because I go through situations of questioning, but I believe there was a person named Jesus. And I believe that if we just followed, even if we don't believe in that, what that was to represent, what's wrong with that? Why are you worried about who I sleep with? Why are you? Because I have a lot of gay friends who, when they see this, they're like, do you even know what that means? You hate yourself? No, I don't. I actually love myself. I probably love myself a little too much. But
And I love that how you said that, though, Jesse, because I think a lot of people, just like Megan, she felt like, okay, you're judging me. Why should I even bother? Just, again, do your journey with God and your walk. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And, do what you want. Also, I have Jesus tatted on my arm in Hebrew. So it's like, that's what it is for me. So it's like, you choose your own walk, but don't let others, steer you in a direction that's not of you.
Okay, these reboots. I
Yes.
need to hear about them right now because you was talking about, talk about this Arthur reboot. Well, it's not an Arthur reboot. First of all, you put it on because you told me that Arthur is still on television.
Yes, Arthur is still very much on television. They now are on their 22nd season on PBS. I mean, you were saying earlier you used to run home after school
Magic
to
School
make
Bus and
sure
Arthur.
that you made it in time for Arthur. So Arthur made headlines this week because Mr. Ratburn, who is his longtime third grade teacher. I mean, Arthur's been in third grade for what, 22 years?
We still love him,
We still love
He's that
him.
family member we just, support.
So Mr. Ratburn got married. Mazel tov, Mr. Ratburn. He got married to his chocolatier beau. I think his name is Patrick. Yep. And so it was a gay wedding. It was the first gay wedding on Arthur. Amazing.
Yeah, claps for that.
Amazing.
Now, tell me about Alabama because this was so interesting to me.
So, Alabama Public Television decided that it didn't want to cross any boundaries with any parents who might not be screening this before their kids watch it, and they might not be ready to have that conversation, or they might not agree with it, and so they pulled the episode. So they're still airing Arthur, but they weren't airing that episode, and this is actually the second time they've done this. They did it again, or they did it the first time with Buster, who went over to a friend's house and had two mommies. So,
They're not having sex.
Right.
They're not having sex. These are human beings that exist in life who love one another, and you're demonizing. You're demonizing, and like at the end of the day, it's Arthur. We love Arthur, and you're tainting it at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, here's another reboot though that's complete 90-degree swap, so just hold on.
Okay.
But there's a surprising star who's a huge fan of the Saw franchise and is bringing it back. So if you are into scary movies, watch out because Chris Rock, yes, Chris Rock the comedian, is bringing the Saw franchise back.
Okay, I heard this, and I'm excited because I've loved the Saw movies. I'm also excited because Chris Rock is funny, black, so I think we'll get the story in a different sense, and I think there'll be that kind of comedic horror to it. However, I'm kind of over the reboots. Like, I feel like I would have been happier if he created his own thing. Like, I don't know if we need, like, there's already like 7 Saws, right? Or like 8 or I don't know. There's too many.
It's a lot.
There's a
at
lot,
this
and I've
point.
seen probably a quarter of them, like, peeking through my fingers.
Girl, we're going to see it too.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
scary movies.
I love scary movies. The like stabby, bloody, pain, torture stuff I have a really hard time with, but I would
gore.
absolutely watch the Chris Rock version.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Are you here for it?
Okay, listen, I love Chris Rock. I think he's amazing. At first, I was taken aback, like, why are you even getting into horror, thriller? What do you know about that? But I think we kind of did the same thing with Jordan Peele, who, we know him from Key and Peele, who's been amazing. But Chris Rock is great. I agree with you. Nothing is original these days. So start your own thing, kind of like Eddie Murphy. He did his own thing with comedy and with horror, even though it was not that great, but it was classic. So I'm here for it. I'm ready to see what he has.
All right, you guys. So we're going to get Rayvon in studio. But before we do that, we want to give a special shout out to an AfterBuzz host here, Khalil Abubu, one of the homies. And you might recognize some other faces in there from this AfterBuzz TV, little AfterBuzz TV. He has a new series out. It's called Tombow. And every week, it's all these crazy stories or questions from the Marvel DC universe and a whole bunch of very interesting answers. Take a look.
Why is it okay for Pokemon to fight, but not dogs?
I never thought that was okay for Pokemon to fight each other like that, you know? You got them all enslaved up. You know, that was always kind of sus to me.
Maybe it's like because it's consensual, maybe they're into it and it's cool, but like, I always thought that was weird.
In Japan are called pocket monsters. You know, monsters are known to fight, and they also have powers too. And a dog, you know, a dog doesn't have powers.
Dogs aren't known to fight.
You're not known to fight, and also the only power I guess you can say a dog has is the power to love.
Also, Pokemon have Poke Centers where like you put the Pokemon in its Pokeball, you let it go in there for 5 blinks, and then it comes out right as rain. Meanwhile, veterinary bills are very expensive.
I'm not gonna say Pokemon aren't real, because they're real to many. However, Pokemon don't die. Pokemon, they fight and then they pass out. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm making a slight argument for that side.
I don't think it's okay for Pokemon to fight now. They're so cute. They have feelings.
I'm surprised the Pokemon don't be fucking up the people. They, you know, the people just regular ass individuals. You know, I'm surprised animals in general ain't just like decided to mob up on us.
I see what you mean.
Shocking, isn't it? Now take these, your Pokedex and Pokeballs.
If the Pokeball, if it was like a Gucci Pokeball with a little strap or a fanny pack, then it would be all kinds of laws, and they would adopt them, and they would be like sitting them on the table at Starbucks, and they'd be running around your feet when you're trying to eat dinner, and like panting over your food at restaurants.
Every time Pikachu gets hurt in the fucking cartoon, I would cry. I'd be like, oh my, Pikachu getting fucked up. Like, if I had a pet Pikachu, me and Pikachu, we'd go to the beach, we'd be like boyfriends. Like, literally, I would never need a boyfriend because I would have Pikachu. And like, Pikachu is actually my ideal man in my life. Like, all right, well, here we go. Sorry, Killmonger. Don't play Let Falcon Get That raise.
What do the humans eat in Pokemon? Because you know how we eat animals, so does that mean that they eat Pokemon? So not only do they make the Pokemon fight, but then they also eat the Pokemon? Fam.
Why can Pokemon fight?
Because people don't think they're real.
All right, Tombo. Shout out to Khalil Boo Boo for that. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys go check out. It's on YouTube. Also, make sure you check out his web series, The Black Spider-Man. It is hilarious, it's amazing, and it is just, it's what the culture needs right now. But ladies and gentlemen, what we need here at AfterBuzz tonight, we got in studio Rayvon Owen. Hey, thank you for coming through, brother.
Hey,
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm
First and
excited to be
foremost,
back.
congratulations on your new single.
Thank you so
It's
much.
amazing.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
Your voice is like butter.
Like honey.
Oh, thank
Agave?
you.
Oh, yes, agave.
There we go. I like agave.
Yeah, me too.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad it's out. It's like your baby. So you're just glad to put it out there in the world.
So now tell us, so I know with a lot of artists, like everyone has eras, you know what I mean? Like this is what I was going through then.
True.
How, so the song's called X.
Yeah.
And now, how long has this kind of been, like I know, to release this project?
Yeah, it's been about a year or so. So now I'm like kind of
over your ex.
Right. Well, it's funny because like now I'm in a relationship currently that the song is not about, you know. So it's kind of, I always say when you put out a song, it's like everyone's a little step behind on what's going on, you know. But that being in that relationship, I was so comfortable, and these feelings just kept coming back to me. You know, these old emotions that I went through. You know,
So
from
while
my
you were in
past
your new
relationships.
relationship, you were realizing how bad that last one was.
Yeah, because I kept all this hidden. You know, I'm gay, and I didn't really share that part of my life up until more so recently, the past few years. And so now I'm going back into all the old memories and all the files of like all the feelings and emotions that I went to, and I wrote this song with my buddy Spencer over here.
Spencer.
And we just kind of like, I don't know, it just came out of me. You know, when you repressed all those emotions and feelings, and so that's what's coming out in this new music, in this new era. So it's like going back and revisiting that and showcasing that part of my life.
Does your boyfriend ever be like, excuse me?
No, because you know he's glad he's the ex, and and that's not gonna happen again.
Amen. Moving on.
Moving on. Exactly.
All right, so before we get into some other stuff that you've been working on, I want to talk. Here at AfterBuzz, we're all about TV shows.
Yeah.
So I want to get into some new TV shows.
I love some.
Jaimi, what we got?
Okay, so one of the TV shows we have is Songland. So that is a huge show that we have. Basically, what it is there's Esther Dean. You might know her as a songwriter. So all these songwriter hopefuls that are trying to make it into the industry, they're actually in competition, working with the stars to find that next big hit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you've written songs too, so you kind of know how that is.
And you were on a little show called American Idols. So.
Yes, I did a show too, so I know that.
Would you ever do
world.
another competition show? Ever? Or any type of musical?
No, it's kind of like once you've done that, you kind of... But something like Songland, I would consider doing something like that because of the fact that you get to showcase your original music, you know?
So would you say, because Janine, you were saying that they were promoting how innovative this was, right?
Yeah, so all of the promos are like, never been done before. This is a brand new concept.
Right.
And I'm like,
is it?
Is it?
Right.
Well, I guess what makes it different, I mean, have we seen any original music be put up to a competition?
No.
Which I'm like, the legal people must be having a field day with this one.
I know, right? Well, the thing, I mean, also on the other hand, as a contestant, they're probably having a field day trying to figure out how they're going to keep their rights and everything.
Guess what? You're not.
Because they feel like they're giving you that platform to put your music out there, so you probably have to owe it back to them in a way. But I don't know. I think it's kind of original. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I mean, at least me now going through Idol, I'm like, that was a great experience, and I'm happy, and I feel like I showcased to America, like, I'm a good singer, I'm a good musician, and so now it's like real life Idol is like showcasing your music, your own stuff, you know, because you want to be known for your own songs, not just for singing covers. So that's kind of why I like that spin on it, because it's going to give us kind of more artists. Although Idol's been doing that too, showing more art, showcasing more artists.
Yeah, they've been, which is also interesting because these pay raises for Idol judges.
Right.
When I tell you, I ain't never heard someone disrespect an icon like Lionel Richie.
I know. Right. You know I love Lionel Richie.
We dropping his pay grade to that?
I know. It's not fair, honestly.
No. And Katy Perry over $15 million.
Of
right,
course.
which is crazy.
And Ryan, you know, he racks up. But
so that's coming out on May 28th.
Yes, right. And then we have another show as well called Smothered. So this will be on TLC. So now this is definitely nostalgic. It reminds me a lot of the early 2000s shows. What do you guys think about that with the mother-daughter bond?
Love it. Obsessed.
With
this
the
is what I watch.
Yeah.
Because this is real. There are really people out here. These are the people Maury goes after.
Right.
And I live.
You give me Toddlers and Tiaras. You give me my 600-pound life. You give me my Smothered. I want all of it.
June night, TLC.
Right. Okay, so then we also have Little Big Shots. So we all heard the news. NBC is just making these cuts, especially with Steve Harvey, Uncle Steve. So, and it's crazy because I believe that Little Big Shots was actually a concept thought of along with Steve Harvey. And so now he's gotten the boot, and Melissa McCarthy is taking over.
How do we all feel about, because I love Melissa McCarthy, but I've never seen her as a host in this
Never seen
aspect.
her in that role. I think she could do well in that role, though. I love Melissa
her with
McCarthy.
the kids, yeah, it could be cute.
She's very funny, and I think, what was the most recent movie she did that was Oscar nom?
I don't even know.
Honestly, I showed a different side of her, which I like.
Oh, see, I don't
Well, it wasn't memorable because I don't even remember.
No, my last one is Life of the Party, Live for It.
Yeah. And so that will also be out this summer as well. And then we have another show that is coming out as a reboot, and that show is Colby Davidson. He's going to be the new host on The Butcher. So it's going to be on the History Channel. Now, you know, there's been other hosts as well, but are you guys familiar with Colby Davidson?
From Survivor.
Right.
But he looks familiar to me, but, like, he's, like, one of the original Survivors.
Yes, he is, yeah. So I think it's cool, like, they're giving people a shot, but I just think all the time they're giving everybody a new shot as a host that has not actually been a host, and I think it's just kind of disrespectful to people that are really like working hard to be hosts. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like they're just letting anybody in these days.
I'm also like, do I want to watch like Chopped Meat for like 40? I love the show
I
Chopped.
don't.
I love the show Chopped. Obsessed.
I don't have an issue with the fact that he hasn't been a host before. I do find it kind of an odd fit for the History Channel. I would have thought this would be on the Food
TLC
Network.
or Food Network.
Yeah, Lifetime even.
And watching the promo, I don't know if I can sit through like an hour every week of them literally hacking a pig in half. Like, I love bacon, but I'm not.
so I couldn't.
See, yeah.
So you want to watch it?
This
That's
is
why
not
your
your
skin's
show.
so bomb.
Yeah, it's luminescent.
We're glowing.
This
How
is
long have
not
you been a
your show.
vegan for?
Well, I've been mostly vegan for the past like 2 years or so.
What was the
but
shift for that?
Officially, like 2 years. I got challenged to do it for 30 days, and I did it for the month, and I loved it. I like felt like lighter on my feet. I did notice my skin like kind of clear up a little bit. And so I just kept going. LA is kind of the place to be vegan.
It is.
If you're gonna eat vegan food, I feel like you can do it.
I
here.
just ate matcha ice cream the other day. Ugh,
Yes.
no.
It wasn't good?
I mean, like, here's my thing. I want to transition into veganism.
It's okay. No shade. I'm not a judgmental vegan. No. You
I
know what
tried
mean?
my first Impossible Burger the other day,
so
and
good,
I
right?
loved it.
It's so
yes,
good.
Tastes
I
like the
did
real
love
thing.
it.
It's
But people are
delicious.
kind of like, okay, but do you know what those are and how that's going to affect you in the future? Like, we don't really know what that meat's really made.
Like what's in it? Like it's been processed
That's
with
true.
what?
Well, that's why I
I'm
like
with
the
you on that.
Beyond Burger, because
Yep.
it's like no soy, non-GMO. It's like pea protein.
I just
It's
spoke with the
plant-based.
CEO and founder of that company about their Beyond Beef product, and it's
Oh.
really, really fascinating how they sort of orchestrate it all from plants to make it give you that meaty sensation.
Yeah, it's all plant-based. So I think it's healthy.
Yeah.
I
And
skeptical,
think-ish.
but
And LA is definitely the place to be.
Right.
Yeah, there's vegan food trucks just
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
They got vegan
Which I love.
Sunday. That's
So-
like my ritual now.
So now you're LA based, and what do we got as far as like performances? Are we working on an actual like full project? Like,
Yeah, we definitely got a project down in the line. I've been in the studio like since Idol for the past few years. I've just been recording and writing and finding my perspective, like I was saying, feeling that shift in my music and in my artistry, and just seeing what I want to talk about and how I want to say it. So now I feel like I finally have a body forming and a perspective. So it's definitely in the fall. Yeah.
what's something that you would say? Obviously, you said within the past 2 years that now you've kind of found within yourself a comfortability within yourself to now express through your music that you were kind of scared. Did you still to this day have those kind of moments with writing, or like?
Oh, that's interesting.
'Cause it's
yeah,
therapy.
I think there's always a part of you that is a little bit filtered and fighting to try to not to be, and for me it's no longer, now where I used to be afraid about saying boy in a song, now I'm like saying boy, and talking about those relationships with guys. But so it's less of that now, and now it's more so, oh, well, should I say this curse word? Is somebody who looks up to me gonna, feel like this is a bad word, or this topic, is this too rated R for, so those moments still creep in and out. But I think now I'm just kind of writing just from a place of like, okay, I'm just gonna record whatever, say what I want, and embrace whatever feeling is coming, and then once I'm done, then we'll see about it. You know what I mean? I don't have to release the song, so maybe it's just something I need to get out of my system for myself, because there's many songs that sit on my computer that I'm like, will these ever see the light of day?
Release it.
Drop some EPs. Come
Right,
on.
come on.
Where we at?
That's what I'm saying. So there's a whole body, and I think, like you said, just finding that right timing and place to do it. But
Who's a feature that you would love to get on your album?
I have a lot of features.
You can give me 3.
3? Well, I'd like to see, you never see like 2 guys like do a duet, like a type of love duet. So someone like Sam Smith or like Frank Ocean.
Yes.
I would love.
I'm here for the Frank Ocean.
I would love to do a duet with, because I'm like, okay, that would just be such a cool vibe. We can do something different.
Especially Frank, yeah.
Especially Frank Ocean, yeah. And I'll say Kehlani too, because I just love Kehlani. I feel like her And well, I just list all gay or LGBT artists, but
That's fine. We support it.
All right.
the thing about Kehlani is that you don't even associate. You
Yeah,
don't even think
I don't.
that she's just a amazing musician, and I just love her for her. Even before I knew she was saying "girl," I just liked her. As
But
an
it's funny,
artist,
I feel the same way about you. And
that's cool.
I've DJ and I've worked with a lot of artists, and the one thing that I would say about a lot of artists that come out of the gay community, they almost, I hate to say it like this, they're either it's just like not my style,
Right.
or it's like they over push
Over,
the
right,
sexualization.
no, I get that.
And your music is, I don't, classy ain't the word, but it is, but like, it's made for pop. It's made for today. You know what I mean? Like, people are ready to hear your message, and I think that who you are as a person shines through that, and I just love that we have somebody finally. Like, I just am very
appreciate
excited
that.
for that.
Thank
so
you.
I want you to perform because everyone just needs to hear this voice
Okay.
right now. Y'all not ready, boy.
I feel like these are
But
my
you,
three
Spencer and Kehlani,
Yeah.
Yes. Now that would be
That'd a
dope.
good situation.
I'm so here for that. All right, so now
Yes.
set us up with the song title
Okay.
and give it to us.
This is X. My name is Rayvon Owen. Here we go. Too many times you put me through this. Now I'm doing better on my own. I thought I was done with all your bullshit, but I still see your name on the phone. So why you call? I thought I made it very clear. Boy, I'm moving on. I don't need you here. Ain't got no more tears. You got me like, boy, I deleted your text. Ain't got no regrets. Don't waste your breath. Boy, you ran out of chances. I got new romances. You'll always be my ex. Yeah. You'll always be my expectations that will never be met. Couldn't build a home out of your lies. And oh, you should have thought before you cheated. Now all I gotta say is goodbye. So why are you calling me? I thought I made it very clear. Boy, I'm moving on. I don't need you here. Ain't got no more tears. Got me like, boy, I deleted your text. Ain't got no regrets. Don't waste your breath. Boy, you ran out of chances. I got new romances. You'll always be my ex. And now you're wondering why I caught you with disease. You sleeping with the lies. You got me like, boy, I deleted your text. Got no regrets. Don't waste your breath. Boy, you ran out of chances. I got new romances. No.
Hey, Rayvon Owen with X. Yo, thank you for blessing our studio with that.
Oh, thank you so
That is everything.
much.
So the video's everywhere. We can see the video.
Yeah, the lyric video is out, and the
We
music.
seen that. We're gonna play that at the end of this. So
Yes.
stay tuned.
And the music video is coming right around the corner.
And now, where can we purchase the song?
It's everywhere.
We want to
so
support you.
Thank you. iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you can listen to music. Tidal.
And everyone can follow you.
Pandora. What else? What else?
Whatever your
Yeah,
radio
everyone
station.
can follow me. Yeah, at Rayvon Owen, RayvonOwen.
Spencer, where can we check your guitar skills out?
Oh, thank you. Spencer _Hendrix on
Damn.
Instagram.
Yes, go check him out. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I wrote a lot of songs with this guy. We've been working in the studio on some stuff, so we have more down the pipeline.
Your voice
exciting.
makes me sound good.
It's a bromance, y'all.
It is. That's how it is.
All right, we got to wrap it up, but we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys follow us, leave comments down below, show us love, subscribe to us on iTunes after you purchase Rayvon's song, single, okay? And make sure you guys also check us across all social media platforms at Afterbuzz Tonite. Janine, where can everyone follow you?
Everyone can find me at Janine Doyle.
All right, what's up, guys? Jamie, you can find me on Twitter at It's Jamie Gray or on Instagram at Jamie Gray.
Boom, hit me up at DJ Jesse J, and make sure whatever your favorite TV show is, go check out AfterbuzzTV.com because we talking about it. Till next week, peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to Afterbuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterbuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of Afterbuzz TV or its owners or principal.